Anna Stutzman sank into her rocking chair as the last rays of the midsummer sun dimmed on the Kansas horizon. Her bentwood hickory rocker soon moved in rhythm to the ticking of the Seth Thomas mantel clock. It had just turned dark outside when the Westminster chimes announced her bedtime, 9:30 p.m. Anna made no move to get out of her chair, glancing instead toward the bedroom where her son's body had lain for the funeral wake last night. These 24 hours later, he lay buried under the Kansas loam. A caravan of mourners had threaded its way toward the Amish cemetery. The horse-drawn rig in front of her set the pace, pressed into Sunday service as a hearse. The early June sun beat down mercilessly on the carriages moving west on the sandy road. Waves of shimmering heat blurred the horizon under a cloudless prairie sky. Here and there in the procession, a few cars with overheated radiators belched out steam. The fragrance of freshly mown alfalfa hovered in the dry air, wafted on an occasional puff of the south wind. This scent blended with the rich aroma of nearly ripe grain in a nearby wheat field. It was occasionally spoiled by the odor of fresh dung, falling to the roadway in the wake of a flagging horsetail. The lead wagon paused, then crossed Route 61, the hard surface road that angled southwest out of Hutchinson through a grid of country roads. A mile away in the village of Partridge, a tall wheat elevator stood like a sentry on the horizon. As they approached the burial ground, Anna looked beyond it to the next intersection. An old windmill stood among several ruined buildings surrounded by trees. It was the place where her son Tobe and his wife Emma had started housekeeping 16 years earlier. She glanced over at her daughter-in-law, whose face was etched with grief. The driver slowed and stopped the horse at the gate to the West Center Amish Cemetery. White foam flecked the corners of the horse's bridle and dropped to the browning grass. An attendant slid off the wagon to open the gates. He uncoupled the short chain and swung open the two hinge gates made of woven wire that were stretched over metal pipe frames. The horse stood still as the pallbearers slid the casket off the back of the wagon and carried it through the gate. Dry prairie sod mixed with clay lay beside the yawning hole hand-dug by volunteers the day before. A pair of garden spades angled out of the earthen pile. 3 wooden boards spanned the top of the grave. The pallbearers gently laid the casket onto the boards as the family arrived at the grave. John D. Yoder, the white-bearded Old Order Amish bishop, motioned the family members toward one side of the hand-hewn vault.